How is it that someone can walk into your place of business, perform an attack, and walk out without a single employee raising a finger? Seems like fiction, doesn't it? But we've been there and we've seen it and we've done it. Well, today on Learn Online Security podcast, we'll be diving into the world of authority-based attacks. Specifically looking at social engineering and how this all plays together. The art of using authority to get past your defenses has been a long-standing tactic, and we want to give you some practical tips today that you can implement to protect your business and look after yourself. So I'm going to start just by adding a couple building blocks right from the beginning, just so that if you're new to the podcast, you'll be able to understand what we're talking about. So we talk a lot about social engineering, and social engineering is the art of collecting information and then using it against you. So we can get into that, but that's basically what it is. When we talk about authority social engineering attack, an attacker will borrow known authority that's already out there and then use that in the attack against you. So that may be a boss, a department at work. It could be an electrician or some sort of tradesperson. There's a whole bunch of different authorities out there that one can use to attack with. And so understanding that, those two building blocks, we're going to welcome our guest for today, Chris Howells. Chris is the director of IT at Bankert and a part of our Learn Online Security education team. Welcome, Chris.
Hey, Richard. How are we doing today?
Doing awesome. So, Chris, the other day I was out at a site. It's a remote site, public space, lots of people around. And part of my job that day was actually routing and sort of doing a network assessment on a particular client's network out there. So I was out and I had to take pictures, and I didn't want to seem all sketchy and like I didn't belong. So I ran back to my truck. I threw on my hard hat, threw on my safety vest, which I got behind me, and threw that on, walked around, took pictures. No one thought anything of it. It was
and
totally
then you sent
fine.
me a video. And then you sent me a video and said, I can walk around immune to any observation.
Absolutely. And that got me thinking about authority-based attacks a little more. I know we've talked about them a bunch, and they always pop up in all of the training that we do. But the ability to stand there and go over barriers, I could walk anywhere I wanted. I could take photos of anything I wanted. And no one looked at me funny at all because I was dressed in authority. Whereas if I just had my plain street clothes on, then people would be like, wow, that's sketchy guy's taking pictures of windows and things like that, places that he probably shouldn't be, and became a lot more concerning. So it's a really great example of authority-based attacks, especially in social engineering. So in your experience, what has been one of those elements that has been just like, wow, I can't believe that authority-based attack actually worked?
Well, we get asked to do penetration testing all the time. And one of our clients says, I want to know what my staff is going to do to a stranger walking in. And I walked into their location. I walked to the very, very back. I was never stopped the entire way. I grabbed a ladder, came back to the front of their establishment, took down a physical piece of equipment, replaced a fixture, put the equipment back up, went and put the ladder away, and walked out with the piece of equipment. I phoned the client a day later to find out if she had heard I had been there. And the answer was no. Staff didn't say anything at all. And the scary part about this is all the staff that were there that day, they were brand new. It's not like somebody knew, oh, that's Chris. He's supposed to be here. And as I pointed out to the manager, I said, it doesn't matter if I was supposed to be there or not. Nobody knew who I am. She wasn't contacted, and I didn't perform any ID. I just walked in like I owned the place and walked out. like literally with a piece of the building with me.
Yeah, and I want to pull on that thread just a little bit because the idea of confidence within any of the attacks that are done, if you walk in with confidence, like you belong there, like how many times have we walked into a spot and like at events, we'll be at a different event or we're helping out an event and we're just like, oh, I don't know if I'm actually supposed to be in this area. But if you walk in with confidence, like you belong there and you're supposed to be there and you're on a mission and away you go, no one questions you at all. It's just the way you go.
I'm going to go back to my youth. When I was younger, my friends and I would go out and you'd go to the establishment and everybody else is getting carded. And I'm like, and they're paying a cover. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing that. I walked by, I flipped my license very quickly, inspector closed it and walked into the establishment. The guy stood back a little bit, let me go, and he didn't question it. It was kind of like, that straight up is an authority attack, period. Because the guy didn't stop to look at anything, like you say, just sheer confidence, walked up, did it, walked in.
And I think that's really the main thing with an authority attack. If you have someone entering your business and saying, I'm so-and-so and I'm going in. Now, if it's the FBI that shows up and they've got 20 officers with them and they're all decked out, you can still double check and verify. But, most of the time that's not the case. It's usually a single or couple guys who are performing some sort of an attack on you.
Usually an authority attack, if it's going to involve multiple people, starts with what they call a penetration. The first person goes in, establishes the authority, and then brings the people in behind them.
Mm-hmm.
Basically starts pointing out and giving directions.
So what's the main purpose of an authority attack? I realize that's really broad because with most of these attacks, they're not just every single attack is trying to do the same thing. There could be millions of different objectives as to what they're trying to get. But in general, if we were to put a sort of definition to it, what is the purpose of an authority attack?
The purpose of an authority attack is to enter an establishment and not have your presence questioned. That is the ultimate purpose of an authority attack. Nobody questions your presence. You are the utmost authority at the time. You belong there. You should not be questioned. You should be left alone. We have a continuous conversation in course and our podcasts and everything else about time to operate. And we always tell people, create time for yourself. Well, the attackers are doing the same thing. They're creating time for themselves. During an authority attack, if you stop that attacker and you question their credentials, you've taken their time away. So the attack, the effects of the attack start to diminish depending on the credentials he's able to provide. If he's gone to the trouble to create a set of credentials to establish himself there, then that's fine. He's going to get past you, but you took away his time. And that goes for any attack. They need time. You deprive them of time, the attack starts to fail, falter, and fall apart.
So with that in mind, what would we do then if we wanted to thwart an attack? Someone comes in, maybe it's not an attack. The main thing is you have to verify, is this actually legit or is it not legit? And often people come at us with urgency, there's a problem, and the whole goal is to not allow you time to think. So often we teach people to slow down and to take time to breathe. There's nothing that's actually truly urgent. Understand the situation and verify its legitimacy before moving on. But why are authority-based attacks so effective on employees? And how do attackers make themselves seem so credible?
Why are they effective on employees? Employees in society have been trained to respect authority. So the more authority you project, the less they are to push against you. That's societal training. How can we thwart it? We're going to come back into training. And we're going to head there first. If you take your time with your staff, you put policies in place that they have to follow, regardless of if you're the authority, they should have the right to question you that you are the authority so you can prove yourself. If you're an employee and you're watching this or listening to this, your boss comes in and starts doing something outside of the regular schedule and you recognize them, question it. And if the boss says, well, why are you questioning me? This is outside of your normal schedule. Is everything okay? I'm just looking out for your interests. That's true. As a boss, if I came to you and I said, hey, Richard, this is a little out of the ordinary for you. Is everything okay? What are you going to do?
I'm going to tell you if it's okay or not.
Yeah, and if it's not and you can't tell me, you're going to indicate to me somehow that, no, this isn't okay. Because sometimes an authority attack may use an actual authority figure that's been compromised.
Absolutely. Well, just jump off that. Let's go to an actual attack that you will see quite often, and that is the boss gift card scam. So how does that one work?
Well, that one usually works with somebody gets a hold, and in this day and age, you can spoof a cell phone number or spoof an email address. And we'll pick a staff member. I know an individual that this happened to a prominent business in Calgary. The individual went out skiing for the weekend. And she literally had been talking to her boss 10 minutes before she stepped off the chairlift. And he said to her, have a great weekend. I'll text you if there's something I need, but otherwise enjoy yourself. And she got off the ski lift, and shortly afterwards she gets this text. Yeah, we have this big event coming up. We're going to need 50 $100 gift certificates as part of the promotion. Can you pick them up for me, please?
So 50, 100 gift cards, we're looking at $5,000 worth of gift cards.
Yep. And she turned around, she says, I don't have access. Like, she texted back, I don't have access to corporate card right now. Can you transfer me the money? And LOL came back on her text and said, both of us are up. I'm skiing the next mountain range over. I don't have access to the corporate stuff from here. Can you throw it on your credit card? Her husband works in our industry. This started throwing flags at him. And he said to her, whatever you do, do not respond. And like all loving spouses do, whether you're the husband or the wife, you do exactly which you're not supposed to do. She responded, yeah, I'll get on this right away. Now, to her credit, what she did next impressed him, impressed me. And when we both told you the story impressed you, she picked up the phone and phoned her boss. So the attacker right now thinks that she's getting on this thing. And while she's talking to the boss, the attacker then turned around and put an email in and said, yeah, drop them at my house. This is the address.
Nice. And
because she was talking to her boss at the time, and her boss is like, no, I told you to have a good weekend. She told her what was going on. She goes, I got an address. And he goes, okay, we'll contact the authorities. They called the authorities. The authorities launched a sting, and they caught 4 people.
Wow, it's such a simple attack, too.
Yeah.
as far as carrying it out. Uh, what's the easiest way to get that information when you're out of the office, though?
The easiest way is social media. I don't want to pick on any one branch or another, but social media in general.
Social media in general, and the other one that I think of right away is your out of office email replies.
Yes. And like we've had this discussion before, if I'm headed out of town or I'm not around, very few of our clients have direct access to me. And the ones that do, I talk directly to them. Right? I use the phone more than, it's going to sound unusual. I use the phone more than I use electronic communication.
Right.
Right? So what you will get from me is a form of electronic communication. Like if you're phoning the office and you're coming through to me, I will reroute my phones to you. You will
Yes.
do the same with me and other people within the organization, depending on what its results to. But we also have a thing in place that if you get a piece of electronic conveyance that's doesn't sound right for me or doesn't fit my profile, we have a position in place where, hey, Chris, was this you? Hey, Richard, was this you? And if we can't reach each other, we don't proceed with the instructions.
Yeah, and we're implementing passcodes and things like that too, because in the age of AI and deep fakes and things like that, you don't know if someone has stolen someone's phone and who you're talking to on the other end. But that's a whole other different podcast topic.
That's another podcast.
We're not going to jump into that. But just quickly as we close off here, this conversation's been awesome. But how to defend against authority-based social engineering attacks. So just quickly, what habits or mindsets can help people resist these tactics?
It sounds old, it sounds rebellious, but always question the authority. Take 2 minutes and say, are you the authority figure you say you are? It takes 2 minutes. And if they're the real authority figure, yes, they may get a little bit bent out of joint, but you can always explain yourself afterwards and saying, like, hey, I'm just doing my job. From an employer standpoint, look at your policies, look at your procedures, look at your staff's education.
I think staff education is by far the biggest thing. We can create all the policies we want. And if people need help creating policies, they don't know what policies they should have, we can help with that. But what the policies and procedures you put in place are no good if no one is told about them and trained in them and actually allows them to be, part of the values and cultures of your particular organization.
And the key word there is the cultures of your organization. If you train your staff and you take the time to train them at the base level, it makes them feel valued in your organization. It creates retention. It creates a subscription to values. It creates a wholeness within the organization, a common goal, common view.
And I'll just put a plug in here for the learnonlinesecurity.com. That's one of the main things we do is we train you and your employees in social engineering security training. We have set credentials in place that assist and allow you to, put those policies to build that culture so that your employees understand the key concepts that are going on. And these are things that aren't just meant to protect them at work. Our vision and value is to protect them as individuals, as people, to protect them at home so they protect their family, so they protect their community and organizations they're a part of, as well as the businesses that they're a part of at your business. And then that in turn creates a sphere of protection around that person. Because if I just protect a person at work, well, I can just social engineer you at home. I know you have a gambling addiction, so away we go. I know you have XYZ, and because of that, I can then use that to leverage that position, blackmail the person to get them to do whatever I want. And so that becomes a whole other conversation that we do want to dig into and that we do train on.
Yeah.
So protecting your business as a whole.
So, Richard, you planted the seed. How about we talk about getting back together in 2 weeks and we have a small discussion about where AI is affecting authority and attacks that we're facing nowadays?
AI is definitely affecting attacks, and it's definitely going to be the conversation of our next podcast. We're now going to jump into our heroes portion of the program. This is for everyone, but it's another 10-minute discussion that we're going to have. So look for the next video that's coming out where we're just going to quickly go over some common examples of authority-based scams. It gives you some practical advice. And look for that video out tomorrow.